The college football playoff rankings has just came out, and this is my almost very immediate reaction to them. And I only have one problem, and it's kind of it's yes, a lot of the rankings were kind of the same, a lot of what I thought, but I have one problem, and it comes with a problem I had for a long time, and this goes back even in the AP poll. You can kind of see this problem, and it's happening now, and I don't understand what they're doing or what concepts they are using here. But it's the problem of inconsistency of what we are evaluating. And it's happening again, and I could prove it to you. Why is BYU, well, BYU A shouldn't be below Boise State. That's a different problem. That's a separate problem. But why is Boise State below SMU when Boise State beat them? I mean, why is BYU below SMU when BYU beat them? Why? That right there doesn't make sense. That as a statement doesn't make sense. Okay, BYU should not be below SMU when they beat SMU. Like you could say, oh well, their schedule isn't as good, their wins aren't as good, their losses are worse. That's fine. You could say that. That's fine. Okay, that's what you're going to use to justify it. Fine. Whoa. Well, let's go into the top 10 and look at Georgia and Ole Miss. And look at that. Ole Miss is ahead of Georgia because why? Why? Because they beat them. Oh, well, guess what? Georgia has a better strength of schedule, a better strength of resume, better wins, better losses. But yet they are ranked below Ole Miss because Ole Miss beat them at home. But yet that same thing applies to BYU at SMU, and it's the opposite. If anything, the Georgia Ole Miss separation of all those factors I just said is even more significant than it is for BYU SMU. But yet they're doing the opposite. It's the complete opposite for both situations. BYU's below SMU, even though they beat them and they're better metrically and everything. Or over here, you got Ole Miss just because SMU's better metrically than BYU and everything. Or you got over here, Ole Miss beat Georgia, but Georgia's better metrically and everything, and they're below Ole Miss, where it's the opposite, as in BYU beat SMU's better than everything metrically, and SMU is above. That doesn't make sense. If anything, it should be flopped. It should be the other effing way, because at the top, more closer to the top, the teams are closer in how good they are. So a win over each other shouldn't matter as much there as it should later in the past, more in the lower of the rankings. It doesn't make any sense. And I think Georgia should be ranked over Ole Miss. They should be ranked over Ole Miss. They're better in every metric. And you could say, well, they can't be. They lost to them. Tennessee lost to Bama. Tennessee beat Bama. Bama's ranked higher than them. They both have 2 losses. Georgia beat Texas. Texas is the number 3 team in the country. Look, the rest of the rankings are fine, in my opinion. I see people saying Indiana and Penn State are too high. I think Indiana's fine right now at 5th because of the undefeated record, and they are playing Ohio State this week. If they lose to Ohio State pretty convincingly, I will expect them to drop below Alabama, below Ole Miss, below Georgia, and you could argue below Tennessee, which if they drop below Tennessee, they are out, which I think might be in discussion for it to happen, which would be crazy. Depends on how badly they lose. And people were mad Penn State's ranked so high. I think Penn State's ranked fine, personally. I would almost argue they should be ranked ahead of Texas. Their only losses to a very close game against Iowa State. You could argue they should have won that game. And Texas has played who? Because I would argue their only good team they versed is Georgia, and they got beat pretty badly. So I would argue they should be lower. And at least 4th. I think Penn State should be over them. And I get it. I'm in the minority of that. That's why that's at the end of this video, that take. But I think Indiana will drop at some point. Georgia should be ahead of Ole Miss. Like, what are we doing? Especially when you have SMU over BYU. I just can't get over that. I just can't get over that. That makes no sense. Like, I hope someone watching this video in the comments is like, you're right. Because it makes no sense how you're putting a team that lost to the team ahead of them just because they're better in every other stat or metric. And then you look at Georgia, Ole Miss, and Ole Miss is ahead of them, even though Georgia is better in every stat and metric just because they lost to them. It doesn't make any sense. Hopefully, and I mean hopefully, we all get this ironed out by sometime. I could nitpick a couple things. I think Bama should be ahead of Notre Dame. I just like their wins and strength of schedule and just a little bit better than Notre Dame. Notre Dame has the worst loss any of these teams have, period. So I think they're ranked too high in my opinion. I think Bama should be over them. I think Bama should be the home team in their 8-9 matchup, not the away team. But that's just nitpicking, I guess. I think we'll get it figured out. It has a way of working itself out. I think it will get figured out here. I think Colorado will end up winning the Big 12 and be the 4 seed anyway, because I could see them bumping them way up past Boise if they win, especially if Boise maybe struggles in their conference tournament. Ultimately, my name is Joshua C. If you like college football, you like sports in general, I promise this is the channel for you. My name's Joshua C. Hit the subscribe button. It's probably an icon somewhere on the page right now, on the screen right now. And there's videos here that YouTube recommends. So click that, watch that, like this video, like that video when you watch it. Hit the subscribe button. Thank you.